Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy. We are back with Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword, Part 4 of A Prospect of Violence. I think we're just going to jump in with a quick recap, which we'll keep nice and straightforward. The crew of the unhappy bunch that they are, have just managed to at least retrieve the clone of the chief engineer, Raldar. There's been a great deal of controversy about that amongst the crew, and some
You can say that.
general consternations has cropped up, but they've managed to keep everything together, and they have brought the clone back aboard. The clone having scored a decent tally while beamed aboard an asteroid claim where some Kreel have set up shop. Those Kreel were not alone, as it turns out. Rather, they aren't anymore because a freighter has joined them in this star system. It is a large hunk of junk, essentially a little bit in scale larger than you, and they are spoiling for a fight. They have already tried to engage you with what seems to be a sort of pulsed disruptor weapon, and the An has just managed to avoid the first wave of attacks. So, you've managed to dodge things to this point, but things are just getting started here. So, let's just jump right back in. First, taking ourselves back aboard the bridge as the An swoops past the camera. Tabak, you are presently manning you're presently at the con, as it were. Uh, Mr. Korg ahead of you at helm, Vopry at the sensor station, and Koth being the only one who's presently joined you at the bridge. The whole of the ship has rattled as the last pulse made a very close pass with those with the pulsed disruptor blasts, which streak on by, sickly green that they are, and as the magnetic field which constrains them loses containment, it blows out in a great emerald burst. They clearly mean business, and the other Klingons who are in the system with you right now have no interest in helping you, it seems.
Part of my plan had been to get them involved,
Well,
and that's not working.
yep, they are presently at such extreme range as to not be in a position where they could be threatened by the Kreel.
Right.
Should have offered him Hot Pockets.
We
What's
don't have any hot.
the,
We have
is there a
got
possibility to take the fight to them?
to get
Maybe.
closer to them. We would have to cross their arbitrary border into their claim, and they're likely to fire on us as the Creel.
Mm.
That's why I want to get us right on the border.
See how much the Kreel care, eh?
Yeah. But you'd think if they didn't like the Creel in the first place, and they couldn't do anything about the guys on the rock, they got us here. We could do something about this big ship, but they don't want to help out. This
Yeah.
makes zero sense on their part.
Well, there's always the distinct possibility that however much they don't like the Kreel, they don't like you either.
That there is that too. Yeah.
And then they might just want us dead, and then while the Kreel are weak, finish them off.
Yeah, but we're not a threat to the Klingons. Whatever. I mean, that's okay. A Klingon is technically always a threat to another Klingon.
Yeah.
But
Very quickly, whilst Tabak is questioning his life choices and wondering how he got himself into this mess, during that freeze frame where the ship shakes and it rattles and sends Tabak into slightly to the right with his hands up and eyes wide, like in that unflattering shot where we pause and say, "Yep, that's me. Bet you're wondering how we got here." um, would you like to have any? Would you or would anyone else like to be involved. That is to say, to make it to their proper stations now that the ship is starting to show signs of it being against a more serious adversary.
Yeah, Woe absolutely needs to get on the bridge.
Yep. I will let you describe Woe's triumphant return to the bridge.
Uh, it's well, there's a little bit of shame involved, but it's a little bit of a lighter step because the clone didn't die.
Yep.
Um, so back to high kicking open the doors that don't open like that, and she takes her place behind the console.
Yep, there's definitely a loud thud against the door, which for someone less graceful might have suggested that somebody was crashing into it. But sure enough, Woe lightly steps through and makes it to a weapons console where she transfers primary control to her.
Hey, thanks for keeping it warm in here, guys.
Warm is one way to put it.
So I'm assuming Captain's still in the doghouse after we get out of this.
Dog? What do you... Doghouse?
Oh, sorry, Doghouse. I forget. I get things mixed up in my head every now and then.
We need to survive now. We'll worry about tomorrow.
Put it in a bed and whatnot. And we'll give him like a giant rat drinking bottle.
All right.
So with all this, we'll switch over to the tactical display.
But one thing I will do real quick is I will call out to Cheshire and tell Cheshire, great. Cheshire would then leave the bridge as she's trained to and go in her box.
Very well.
I trained a cat. Only a Klingon could train a cat.
Yes. Definitely takes some patience there. So, for perspective, we have things now up on the tactical screen. I'm going to adjust it very slightly for our audience at home. In the bottom quadrants here, we can see just barely long range, essentially. The watchful eyes of a Klingon escort craft that is keeping its eyes on you just in case you toe the line past their claim. We're going to say that entering into any zones further south than what you are presently in would likely trigger some reprisal on their part. In the meantime, however, your primary threat is the Kreel freighter located in the northern quadrants here. It has taken a position roughly between you and the asteroid where the mining claim and the impromptu base was located. They are presently trying to engage you right now, and you are at an effective distance of long range from them.
Yes, and that base is now, unfortunately for them, full of corpses.
There are a good number of corpses there, still some that are alive, and probably angry.
Oh, more than likely.
Yeah.
That's not a corpse if it's alive.
I mean, that base is probably a third corpses right now.
We didn't get into
I
the
like how
living
we're
quarters.
measuring in dead metrics and not alive metrics. Like, yeah, we could say 2/3 of them are alive, but no, it's 1/3 corpse.
We're Klingons. That's what we do.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to pick back up with combat now, which, as a reminder, the way that combat works is that there are essentially rounds to combat. The rounds are based upon the relative scale of the ships that are involved. So, in this case, you are, as a scale 2 vessel, essentially you have 2 turns that you can take, and it obviously alternates between you and your opponent, just like any other combat. But with each, essentially during the round that you have, essentially the key thing with this is that if one of you takes a second turn, or like if the same character tries to act twice within one round, then the difficulty for that person to do something increases. So it's inadvisable to just make it firing everything each time. You'd want to break it up a little bit with somebody else running, say, damage control or sensors, or having the captain take a directing type action. So those are the key points here. With that, though, we're treating this as the start of a fresh round here. What would you like to do?
So we can't go any further. Let's just call it south for now,
Yes.
without crossing their whatever border line they've gone and established there.
Pretty much.
So basically, all of the just south of just below the horizontal line,
I
we
will.
have the first spaces directly below that in which to maneuver.
I will tell you what. If you may elect, if you wish, to maneuver into those tiles, and what I can do is essentially spend threat in order to add to your complication range for each roll, and a complication moving into one of those tiles would trigger the attack.
Okay, but we have all of the sections directly below the horizontal center line in which to maneuver.
Pretty much.
Thank you. That's what I need to know. Why are we holding threat instead of momentum?
Well, I believe that I assigned Woe a point of threat last time, purely on the basis of a bit of a unfortunate commentary from last time.
Ah, okay. Yeah. But we have no momentum, huh? Oy.
I don't. Unless Kresic had something and he was the one presently holding it. Let me check that here. Nope, you have no momentum left right now.
We're gonna die.
Ramming speed, sir.
No. All right. So we get 2 tasks.
Yep. Although it will be broken up by the freighter, or rather by the Kreel getting a turn as well. You could, at this point, if you had the momentum, buy the like basically quick to action sort of thing, where you could take a second action immediately afterwards. But because you don't have momentum to buy it, it would have to either be through threat or you let the Kreel take an action.
All right. Then I'm gonna use the direct action and tell Vopri to scan the shields of that piece of crap and find me a weak spot.
Okay. I will attempt to make that assessment of their systems. 1 moment, Captain. So, scanning for weakness, that will be a control and science task with a difficulty of 1, assisted by the ship's sensors and security. However, because you are at increased distance, so specifically you have 2 zones away, the difficulty will increase for each of those, or each beyond close. So that would be a difficulty of 3 now. Vopri will make the attempt to do that. Would somebody care to roll sensors and science for the ship, please?
Getting there.
Sensors.
And I believe, Captain, you can also use your command and presence to assist as well.
Okay, that's the ship.
Ooh, Vopri is pulling some major, definitely pulling his weight today. So, Vopri on his own.
What am I helping with? I apologize.
Command and presence if you wanted to use the direct task on this one.
Oh, yeah, this would be great. Let's see what happens here.
Okay. So, Tabak, you you give a determined order to find some weaknesses on that ship.
I scared Popry into doing the right thing.
Yep, you and the ship both offered an assist, and Vopri scored 3 successes, so that will be a total of 5 successes. This means that you will both take, you will take 2 momentum, and the next attack will be granted, it looks like, the Piercing 2 quality. So for every effect you roll, that will ignore up to 2 points of resistance. Additionally, for any bonus d20s that are purchased on that next attack, you will gain 1 additional, basically damage die for equal to the number of d20s that you bought.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So
Okay.
real quick.
Give me the momentum. I'll hold the momentum.
Okay. I was going to ask who wanted to be designated momentum officer as well. Let's see. For this, Vopra is going to look at the sensors. Captain, I am assessing the status. It is an unusual configuration. It appears actually not too dissimilar to the style of escort craft. I believe the Das Bu class. It seems as though, however, in their modifications, they seem to have removed some bits of armor. There are power conduits in unusual places. Dozens of backup power sites, and I believe it would also suggest improvements in the warp drive. It is possible we could exploit the unusual configuration to do more significant damage through the shield grid.
Shield grid.
Send that information to Woe's terminal so that she can target the right things.
Okay, and transferring, sir. All right, and as that tactical information starts coming up, the Kreel are going to engage their thrusters, and they are going to move 1 additional zone closer now, so they are presently at medium range. Then the turn will go back to you.
Ooh.
Azek, stay on our side of those idiots' border.
Yes, Captain.
Are you?
That'd be a maneuver task then.
That is actually the question. Do you want Azek to keep moving, basically?
Yes. I'm just trying to figure out how to word this without actually trying to, because does that count as an action, me giving an order?
You giving the order doesn't necessarily do so. I guess just to clarify, make sure that if you would care to qualify things as being for flavor as opposed to like an actual sort of action. And I will say too, well, I understand, space combat does require like a bit of management here. I understand completely if you also want to make this above board a more collaborative process and talk about strategy amongst the crew. I am not going to, out of character, I am not going to penalize you in any way for that.
Well, for the most part, Tabak, not being trained in the arts of spaceship combat, and Azek having been part of the Imperial Navy. Granted, he's crashed into every planet we've tried to land on, but I kind of trust him to know how to keep us from being shot all to hell. So if I'm going to use the command action, I will definitely state when I'm going to use a command action. So all I did was make the suggestion, keep moving, but keep us on our side of the border.
Copy that.
So whatever Azek is going to do with that is up to Azek now.
And we have extreme limited power right now, right?
Does anybody have the ship sheet open?
Yeah.
Just a minute.
Then
Ship sheet. Power. Where is power?
Right by.
There we are. Yeah, we have 4 out of 8.
So, Yeah, essentially, Azek, if you choose to maneuver on thrusters, then you may attempt to do so. I believe that would be just a simple control and con roll. Under the present circumstances, I'm going to rule that it is a difficulty 1. Um, and since we're like so far as maneuvering here goes, I would allow you to move an adjacent square with just thrusters, basically.
Yeah, and that doesn't require any power, so I will
It
do
does
that.
not.
I will do. You said it was control.
Control and con. You are also assisted by the ship's engines and con.
And I'll use piloting as my one of my focuses.
Yep. And I will say, oh, okay. So that is no help from the ship, but Azek will score 3 successes there, so that will generate another 2 momentum. Which way were you heading, Azek? Square to the segment to the left or to the right?
To the left.
Okay, real quick, I would like to just, for simplicity's sake, using this circular grid, we just use north, south, east, west. Just for keep us all on the same page. Is that a good idea?
That's fair.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds doable.
And
Okay.
it says space momentum. You can do power loss, but is there a way to spend some of that for a power gain?
So that would
Yes. When you do
base
power management, you can spend momentum to gain more.
pretty much.
So why don't we spend? Because our max is what, 6 or 5?
6
8.
momentum.
Our max. Oh, momentum is 6, but the ship's max power is 8.
So we're at 4.
Out of 8.
We're at 4 with the momentum. I generated 2. Let's spend one of those for power, and then we can stash the other. That gives us 5.
Well, while
That gives us 5 power, takes us to 3 momentum. Right.
5 momentum.
No, we have 4 momentum already
Right.
from the 2 actions that we've done.
Oh, that's already been added.
That's all we
yep,
have.
I just
4.
added it.
Got it.
Anyway.
Okay,
So if we take the 1,
that works.
that leaves us 3, but gives the ship 5 power.
Okay. So the Yon is going to the Yon's thrusters are going to fire up, and through its gravity-based propulsion system, is going to continue to basically have you threading that needle on what you think is the edge of their firing range and what you know to be the edge of where the Klingons in that patrol craft are going to start giving a damn about where you are. As your ship glides from zone to zone, Voprine continues eyeing the freighter with his sensors. Captain, I believe I'm detecting another target lock. The freighter is attempting to lock onto us. They appear to have arrays of some sort of cannon weaponry, sire. And they are going to target you with those cannons, which for them is going to be a difficulty 3 task because they are now at medium range.
Oh, real quick, did we spend that momentum to up our shields? Up our power by 1?
That would require the power management task, as Raldar
Okay,
was saying.
gotcha. All right,
Yep.
thank you.
So
Sorry.
you may certainly do so the next turn, but for this turn, not so much.
Sorry
All
to
right.
interrupt. Sorry to interrupt our imminent death.
Quite all right. Anyway, so let's see. I've spent 1 point of threat in order to buy an additional die for the crew roll. They must roll a difficulty 3. That is 1 success from the ship. Beginning to think the Kreel aren't very good at this. But the ship does still assist, so that will be weapons and security. And that is a natural 1 right there, which means a critical success in this game. So that will be enough to meet. And they are going to juice their cannons for an extra point of power, which means I get to add 1 additional die. So the cannons atop their cannons pop out from the dorsal section and they begin to rotate their they rotate on their axes in order to better align with you. The cannons whirring around and locking target, and just a barrage of steady beams comes out from each of them. These are an older, more primitive sort of technology, it seems. These lasers, though they manage to connect with the Yan, they don't cause too much buffeting. They are going to hit you for, looks like, 4 points of damage to your shields. The Yan, however, as a Scale 2 vessel, and one that also has an ablative armor, is, I believe, going to resist all but one of those. So you are going to take 1 point of damage to your shields.
Oh yeah.
Captain, I believe the freighter is using a similar type of free electron laser. It is not very well tactically suited.
Mm.
But the turn goes back to you now, and the round has reset. So, what would you like to do next?
You guys want to make more power?
That'd be what I'd recommend. I'm assuming Tabak is on mute again.
Why would you think that? um, geez.
Because our cat likes to step on the mute button.
Okay, so we have both Kelsa and Raldar as our engineering staff at the moment.
Plus, I imagine, pending any other assignment, the other supporting characters are just basically going about ready to do damage control of some sort.
I would think so, yeah. So, call the engineering department using the command action and have them give us another boost of power. Bring up regenerate power reserves.
All right. So,
Oh.
because I'm in main engineering,
Mm-hmm.
difficulty is reduced by 1.
I do believe you are correct. And for power management, the officer reroutes power from various systems, replenishing reserves or freeing power for other uses. This is, I think in this situation, I'm going to rule that this is more daring than control versus engineering.
How does the ship help with this at all?
It actually does
No.
not.
Okay. Do I still get to do my dangerous
Yes, you
assistant?
may use your direct action to assist.
Okay. Is that still going to be presence and command, or would engineering come into that as an engineer?
I believe that since you are going with the direct task, it requires use of the command skill.
I was just double checking.
Yep.
Looking.
Oh, just for most of the combat, Tabak is just shouting, like trying to troubleshoot power systems with Raldar.
And there's me helping.
Oh, and what a person he is to shout command decisions, or like engineering troubleshooting over the comms.
This is like when Janeway yells down to B'Elanna to fix something and tells her exactly how to do it.
Do I get to use the chief engineer ability?
Refresh my memory.
When I succeed on a task for engineering, or to perform repairs or reroute power, I get 1 point of momentum used on that task.
Yeah, I think that would apply here. So after you succeed on the task, if you would have that bonus momentum that could specifically be used in this case to regenerate power.
All right, let's do.
Okay, and that is 1 success there. So combined with the captain's assist, that is a total of 3 successes. The difficulty on this task only needed to be 1. So you managed to succeed, and you have 2 points of momentum that are just presently floating. They can either go into the pool or you can spend them on this. You also have a bonus point of momentum that is specific to the chief engineer ability. The ship gains 1 point of power automatically, plus 1 additional power per momentum spent. So,
Okay,
Well,
so if we have the engineer spend his momentum that he just gained, or are you going to hold on to that?
well,
Well, the one
it
for
needs
chief
to be used.
engineer I have to use. So
Okay,
It's
so
basically 2 guaranteed points of power.
minimum we have 6. If we want to spend more momentum, we can go up to 8 or more. We can go above.
okay, we got 2. Okay, so you have the 2 floating, and then the one of yours, right?
Yes.
So that would be 7, would it not? If we were to put the both floating ones in there.
If we put both the floating ones, we'd be at 8.
Yes,
It gains 1 power from doing the task. It gains another power for the ability.
Mm-hmm.
And if we use the 2 floating, you'd go up to 8.
Your engineer is correct.
Okay, so if we use 1 floating, we go up to 7.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll use 1 floating to go up to 7, and I want to use the other floating one to hold initiative.
That would have to come with 1 momentum would have to come from your pool as well from that to retain
that
the
takes
initiative
2
is 2
momentums?
points.
Okay, then skip that. Then just we'll dump the last one into our pool.
Okay, so
I'm okay with 7 power right now. That's cool. We can do something about that properly later.
you go up to 5 points of momentum, and
Mm-hmm.
the other 3, between your success, the bonus momentum specific to the task, and the 1 free one that you had, that will go into restoring power for 7 points. So, Raldar darting between consoles, dodging around Kelsa, who is moving quite nimbly as well, keeping an eye on matter-antimatter flows. You start juicing the reaction a little bit more and really putting that wartime knowledge to use, managing to restore a good bit of the primary power available for weapon systems, or drawing off from anywhere else that you weren't sure you could squeeze power from before.
And just for flavor, Woe, get the weapons ready, please. I'm very courteous to Woe.
Yes.
For good reason.
I'm having to use an Earther word because there is no please in Klingon.
Just just imagine the harsh guttural Klingon interrupted by please. Okay.
Woe,
That sounds like he's gonna throw up.
Okay, so their turn now.
Yep. So the freighter is going to take another action here, and so they are at present, they are going to hold position, but they are going to attempt to do something. Vopri will notice, Captain, I am detecting. I am uncertain, perhaps. Signs of. Never mind. They failed, so nothing actually happens. I spoke too soon. So yeah, whatever they attempted, it was a bust, and they are unable to proceed. They should really have more points there. Oh, wait a minute. Well, that wouldn't have. Yeah, I see what was going on. Okay, yeah, the turn goes back to you now.
All right, and then we are at medium range.
Yes. Which is the least optimal distance for either of your weapons. Torpedoes are can presently be fired at a difficulty of 4. Disruptor cannons can presently be fired at a difficulty of 3.
Okay.
So,
sorry, I'm taking a look at the tasks.
Yep. Basically, it's a situation where you can either take pot shots now, or you can get in closer and pull some knife fighting with the cannons, or you could always put distance between yourselves and the ship in order to try and fire torpedoes.
Boom and zoom.
Boom
We
and
do have
zoom.
an ability called attack pattern. With a daring and con task, a difficulty of 2, assisted by ship's weapons and con. If successful, until the flight controller's next turn, all attacks made by the ship reduce in difficulty by 1. Power requirement of 1.
So that would bring us down to needing, what, 3s or 2s at this range?
At this range, that would reduce your disruptor cannon, like the threshold for your disruptor cannons to succeed, down to 2. For torpedoes, that would bring it down to 3.
So we want to move closer first and then attack pattern?
Yeah, I guess we're going to have to. So, yeah, just get us closer. And get ready to shoot the crap out of them, Whoa.
All right, maneuver.
Okay, you maneuver in. This will put you in. Okay, with that is that gives you 2 successes right there, which will give you that will fill your pool and then give you a point of floating momentum. The ship may also assist with engines and con.
Getting there. Engines and con.
Okay, you have 2 points of floating momentum. Azek, in standard sort of imperial standard to your imperial training, you are very used to in a great many circumstances. The sharp banking turns of that can be pulled from any ship, from the lightest of bird of preys to even some of the more maneuverable cruisers. Although your days in imperial service may have long since passed, that type of turn is very much still in your wheelhouse, and with that you give.
Literally.
Yep. Um, so yeah, with that you pull the on into a very tight turn and bring your bow to face theirs, zooming in like a predator, straight
And
for
we're
the
going to
kill.
spend those 2 floating to hold initiative.
Okay.
And I think who does the command thing, the attack pattern?
That is
That'd be me.
Azek.
Me again.
Right.
But
All right.
technically, since you've maneuvered in order to close the distance, you are presently at close range now. So that means that you are in optimal disruptor cannon range with a difficulty of 2. You can reduce that to 1 with the attack pattern, but Azek is, because he has already acted in the same round here, the ship is going to have to, or rather, he's going to take increased difficulty to perform an attack pattern right now.
But the attack pattern wouldn't. Okay. So it's difficulty in attack pattern, but it still manages to make us better.
Yeah, if
when we
basically consider it
Okay.
high risk, high reward. If Azek does another task here, it'll be more difficult for him.
Yep.
But it does mean that when you make your attack, it will be only a difficulty 1. The alternative is letting Woe just attack now with a difficulty of 2.
Go for it, Azek.
Okay.
That's
Looks
not me
like-
doing a command. That's just. But so he does that. Does that mean Woe's attack happens at the same time as the attack pattern?
No, it happens after the attack pattern. Basically, like a
Okay.
turn will have to be taken, and I think Woe is there may be some technical issues with the mic on that end. I also think that you are still muted. At least that's what I'm seeing. I've clicked to unmute to see if that did anything. Or how are you doing there, Woe? Oh dear, we cannot hear you at all.
Uh-oh.
At least I cannot hear you, and that means the
Not
stream
not
cannot
me
hear you.
neither. Not me neither.
Well, in the roll 20, it's saying that the audio, or their audio, is presently
Can hear.
not. Oh,
She says can hear.
okay.
Obviously, we can't hear her, but she can hear us.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, you're going to be shooting things shortly here, so just get ready.
Activate the Morse code device.
Oh dear, oh dear.
All right, so we're starting with the attack pattern then.
Yeah.
All right,
The
assisted
ship-
by the ship's weapon plus con.
Weapon and con. All right. Here comes the ship's roll. Oh, 1 for the ship.
Okay, and let me double check that here. The base difficulty on
Is
that
2.
task was 2. However, because you've already acted once this round, the difficulty on that was increased to 3. So, unfortunately, Azek, you did
Can
not
we-
succeed.
Wait. Can we spend the momentum so we can re-roll that 0?
Not for a momentum type spend. That's reserved for the re-rolls are reserved for basically use of determination.
Okay. Isaac, you want to spend that determination?
Gonna be
Yeah,
healing.
let's do it.
Okay, what value would you be trying to invoke here?
The blade or my ship are my sharpest weapons.
I will accept that, and I will allow you to re-roll as much of the dice pool as you wish. Okay, well, you re-rolled the 2 dice there, and they were still, it was the same outcome, so it remains 2 successes. Which is not enough, unfortunately. That being said, as you are now charging directly into their path, they are going to try to reorient themselves to bring their lasers back to bear on you, and they are going to take another attempt at an attack roll here. So they will spend.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
we can hear you again.
Oh, thank God!
Thank Kayliz. We saved.
Unfortunately, they are just going to be out of weapons range, essentially. So what happens is, as they try to angle themselves to where one of the set of cannon mounts, particularly along their dorsal section, can be brought to bear, Azek, you are attempting to bring the ship in for an attack pattern that would allow you the best angle of approach on their on the ship's weaknesses that Vopride spotted out. It is not enough to give you that advantage between their maneuvering. However, you do manage to just move enough to where they can't quite get a good angle on you, and we'll throw in some flair to say that you are kind of barrel rolling and weaving about, making it difficult for them to get a precise lock.
I can't even knit.
Look.
So the
Holy
turn goes back to you. I believe this is a new round for the Yon. So everyone is capable of acting as normal once again. What
Yep,
would you
Well,
like to
what we had figured out was we were going to do the maneuver, which didn't
Well-
give us the benefit, and then we were going to be shooting at them.
Oh, well, you are still presently at close range, so it is currently a difficulty 2 to strike with the disruptors. I know, Ray, you were having some audio issues there a moment ago. Did you have any input on the matter, or is Woe feeling lucky, or, I mean, not that lucky?
I would like to shoot somebody, so I think we should fire some disruptor cannons.
Yes, that is a good thing. Yes.
Okay, let me pull up my sheet. And that's control and security, right?
You are correct. It is also assisted by the ship's weapons and security. It is also dependent upon, it takes at least 1 point of power. You may elect to put in an additional amount if you wish, but let's wait and see how that roll goes, I guess.
The ship is
Oh
being
my
sinking.
god, that roll went bad.
Wow.
Hold on now. 1 second. Where was that? Hang on. Never mind. Never mind.
I was going to say, if you think that you have an applicable value here, you could always attempt to spend your point of determination, which, since neither you nor the ship rolled any successes, it would allow that entire pool to be re-rolled.
Oh god. The only value I think that I could use here is the pack is truly strongest together. That is all I think I can do.
Well, I think I will permit that. So go
Yay.
ahead. You may re-roll. The ship may also re-roll. Okay, that is 1 success from the ship. And that is 2 from Woe. So yeah, Captain is the. I believe at this point you were still like hell bent on trying to get Azek the chance to get into position, as it were, and like be in that prime targeting slot.
That's what we were trying for, yeah.
Yep. Well, at this point, Woe just loses patience, and you see bolts from the disruptors fly out towards the freighter and start making contact against their shields.
A split second too soon.
Well, it's still going to get the bonus from the scan for weakness. So, Tabak, go ahead and roll me for the
Disruptor.
Yep, damage for the disruptor cannons.
Did we add? Were we adding dice for that, or
Because there weren't any bonus d20s that were purchased with either threat or momentum, nothing applies here.
Okay.
Okay, so that is 2, 3, 4 points of damage, and then 2 more that are effects. So that is a total of 6 damage on the base. Those 2 effects mean that Vicious 1 is in play, so you gain an additional 2 points for a total of 8 points of damage against the freighter. In addition to that, because of the scan for weakness task, those effects also trigger the piercing 2, which means that your disruptors ignore up to 4 points of resistance. That is going to be enough to bypass the ship and... Oh dear. Well,
Yeah.
in stark contrast to your initial barrages against the station, where it felt like you were metaphorically pounding your head against the wall trying to break down those shields, with Vopri's targeting information, you find exactly the points that you need to strike at, lashing the ship along along some of the nacelles, along some of the areas where the armor is thinner. You just fire away at every point that you can. Under the just absolutely... that was not supposed to happen. Under that absolutely vicious barrage of disruptor fire, you watch as initially the shields like flicker and like try to mitigate as much of it as it can, but they just blink out completely, and your shots manage to just completely like eviscerate segments of the surface. As a result, the first set of blows lands on the dorsal section, managing to cause a considerable set of issues on one section with some bits of atmosphere coming out. The next set of your strafing rounds, as you're confident that the shields come down, move along the dorsal mounts of the free electron lasers that they have mounted. Thus, I think this matters a little less with the NPC rules technically, but in essence, if you had been fighting normally, the ship basically would have taken. Let's see. Well, it's only one NPC ship here, so I'll go ahead and stick to the normal rules in this case. You effectively, with a 2 and an 18, that is enough to do damage to their communications and their weapons right now.
Really quick question.
Yes.
So, I'm looking at the weapons officer ability. Would that apply to the role Tapok just did with the disruptor cannons?
Refresh my memory. What would the weapons officer?
It says when the weapons officer succeeds at an attack with the ship's weapons, they may re-roll a number of challenge dice on the damage roll equal to the weapons officer's security score.
Technically, that would apply. You could do that if you so wished. I will say you have outright collapsed their shields, so at
But
this.
I want to hurt them as much as humanly possible, or Klingonly possible.
Yeah.
Or Kazintaly possible.
Fair enough. While there isn't the ability to none of the numbers are going to add to that, but there is another way you can do that if you would like. For, let's see, 2 momentum or threat, if you wanted to do it that way, you could choose to buy the devastating attack momentum spend, and that would force me to roll 1 additional system and basically treat it as another as an additional breach.
Question. We needed 2 successes on this attack run, correct?
Correct.
So we got an extra one so that we have a floating momentum, correct?
Also correct.
So yeah, go ahead, take the floating momentum and 1 out of the pool, and there we go. I'm good with that. Everybody else?
I am more than pleased with this.
Okie dokie. Ding. Oh, I did one.
That's a half Flanders right there. That's our Klingon captain.
Good lord.
All right. So 2 momentum. Go ahead.
Well, the floating one and 1 out of our pool.
Yep.
So there we go.
Rolling for damage there. That is going to be a hit to structure now. So that will. I now have to roll a challenge die, actually, because of that. So let's see here. Not 11 challenge dice, just 1. Okay. Not enough to do anything there, but yes. Yeah. Well, you just. You can sit back satisfied as this freighter is just thoroughly devastated under the massive barrage of disruptor bolts that you have unleashed upon it.
Real quick question, because I have no memory whatsoever. How close is Vopri to Woe Station? Can she... Well, never mind. She's 9 foot tall. She can totally reach across and pat him on the top of the head. Yeah. You are now my kin. I have adopted you.
Oh dear.
Right. I have another question, sir. At this range with photon torpedoes, how many successes would we normally need?
I believe that this would still happen at. I believe 4 successes would be required in order to fire torpedoes at this range. Or actually 5 right now.
You're not supposed to use them this close?
At close range, torpedoes are not optimal. They are meant for long range weaponry in most cases.
Alrighty. Now, shooting the weapons, did that use a point of power?
It did.
Okay.
Lowering power.
Okay, so we're at 6 on power.
Yep.
Everybody good if we spend 2 momentum to keep initiative and have Woe shoot them again?
It would be funny.
It would be funny.
I don't oppose anything that's funny.
Okay.
There's going to be a
All
whole
right.
bunch of
We're
funny
keeping the momentum.
numbers
We're keeping momentum.
and funny breaches with funny atmospheric gases venting out of the ship, and possibly some pretty funny figures clambering through hull breaches.
Another
Look,
question.
it would.
Now she needs 2 successes or 3 successes now to hit shooting this time.
3
Correct?
successes with the cannons, yes.
Okay. So take another momentum and get an extra die.
All right. How? Okay. I guess we're doing that. Oh, this is a lot of pressure all of a sudden. All right.
The ship's gonna help, so let's see what happens.
Okie dokie.
Oh no, the ship doesn't help.
Okay, that is 2 successes with no successes from the ship. Unfortunately, the disruptors, I will give you that you some of them at least hit on this pass as you make, but they disperse over the remaining armored sections of the ship. You're not doing quite as much damage as you'd hoped. Indeed, a lot of it is pretty much cosmetic at this stage.
A lot of the energy disperses and is attenuated as it goes through the escaping atmosphere coming out of the ship.
Why
Sure.
is there no power to our weapon?
Oh no, you got power. You just missed. Good
No.
shooting though.
No, that was not me. That was your piece of garbage ship.
I will not disagree with you, Well.
You don't have a choice, and she flashes her teeth.
Dion groans a bit under with the commentary, and I need to do a fluff roll here. Rather.
Look,
So we
we're
took
so,
out weapons, we took out shields, we damaged the crap out of the ship, but they still have engines.
Yes.
Look,
And they've.
we're so the
Go ahead.
worst. We send over the clone again.
Okay.
They won't have shields by that point.
Okay, it
No.
looks like we're going honor before reason here. So they're going to use
They
the.
didn't run away.
They're going with the restore minor action in order to restore their weapons. And then they are going to make an attempt at restoring something else with the task here. So let's call this.
That second shot of the disruptors also used another point of power. Somebody
Yeah.
took that power off there already.
Oh
I
no!
did, yeah. I've been keeping track.
All right, cool.
Well, let me see.
Oh
what they
dear.
can do. I'm going to see what we can do with. I need to check one other thing because I am rolling for a task here. Unfortunately, the ship is already, or the crew rather of the freighter rolled a success in this task. They have also rolled a complication. So before the GM makes a decision on that, oh no. That is 2 natural 20s, which for Star Trek Adventures those are massive critical.
We missed. Their ship explodes anyway.
Oh,
That's like stormtroopers versus red shirts. The stormtroopers can't hit. Red shirts die anyway.
so
Oh my god.
well, your initial we're going to say that the bad round essentially worked out to where, while it looked like you didn't do much damage, something must have jostled there because Vopra reports, Captain, I am detecting a considerable power fall off the. It appears there are some sort of EPS shorts throughout the ship. I'm actually, as part of this complication, I'm going to have them roll one additional one challenge die here. Oh no. Captain, I believe that I'm detecting secondary explosions. One of the warp nacelles appears to have taken damage. A plasma overload of some sort.
Multiple cascade failures in all of their systems? Wonderful.
That does seem to be the case, yes. And
Dang, we
So
picked a fight.
out of character now. Are we still in combat rounds?
yeah, technically you are still in combat. If they want to surrender at this point, their communications are still down. So they until they until they attempt to bring that back, they aren't able to. Until they can restore their communications, they can't say anything at this point. They're pretty much they are pretty much at your mercy right now.
All right, so taking the command action, Azek, take us to point blank range. We'll get ready to shoot them again.
Can we just this is out of character, but can we just transfer Junior over?
I don't want to do that. He's
Let
still
him have some fun.
He's still recovering
Our
from his
transporter doesn't work
last
anymore.
outing, and the transporter needs some major repairs.
Okay.
Doesn't it? Whoa! As I look over my shoulder.
All right, I will do attack pattern then.
Yeah, just get us close, and then wait. If you take us to short range, that would normally mean we would only need one success, correct? With
Yes,
the
and
if he does the attack pattern to get us close for that.
Well, no. Allow me to clarify. So disruptors are optimal rather the cannons that you have. All cannon weaponry are optimal at close range. There's no range shorter than that besides contact, and the only thing that works at contact range is literal battering rams.
Yeah, we don't have one of those. Okay, so
Yeah.
we don't need to get in the same space to okay.
Yeah, no, you are at perfect range for your disruptor cannons right now.
Okay.
The attack pattern will still reduce that down to a difficulty of 1, but you couldn't do anything to lower your attack in difficulty any further than that.
Okay, so yeah, Azek, get us in our prime. Oh, thank you, Azek.
Okay, yeah, with that is going to be a well, that was I believe, just the
difficulty 2 is base.
Yep.
The ship's gotta help.
Weapons plus con.
Weapons and con? Okay. The ship says, I'm not helping you right now, I'm tired.
Well, you still got a point of momentum back with the 3 successes on that task, so yeah, you managed to. We'll say for effect, you have a pretty good sense of where this ship's command center might be located, and if they have any sort of given that it's based off the Daspu class, you know that this is an era of fairly ornate vessels, so they would probably have something like a large window opening of some sort. The Kreel, for their to their credit, do seem to have plastered considerable armor over this, or at least more substantial hull. But anyone in that command center is going to very clearly see that you are camping right, like in the perfect position to blast them.
Okay.
So
now it's their turn.
All right. See.
And we are up to 3 momentum.
Yep, they are going to take the minor action to restore communications now. And this will be one more roll here, trying to see whether some sense comes over him. Okay, yeah, that's enough. Captain, the Kreel freighter is opening hailing frequencies. They are requesting a truce.
Let them eat static. Whoa. Take all of our momentum for 2 more dice and fire.
Well, that'll
And
be.
wouldn't it be funny if we left one with the tractor beam and then shook him like a fucking rocker?
Yeah, we can't do that. They're too big.
Yeah,
It would have been
Bad.
funny though.
it would have been so funny.
I was going to say with only 2 momentum.
We have 3 because you didn't give me back that other one.
That is correct. Azek did give you a bonus there, so yeah.
We can we can shake the escape pods like maracas if they launch any.
I will then recall the momentum there, saying that you spent the 3. So yeah, Woe, you may roll roll your control and security roll to make an attack on this freighter.
And the Yen is doing weapons and.
Oh my god. Oh my god!
The Yan isn't doing shit because Woe seems to have rolled a complication there and no successes anyway.
She only rolled 2 dice.
That's right. You can roll 2 more dice because 2 more were bought there. Okay, so that's 2 successes, but I'm also 3 in total with the ship. However, those first 2 rolls also count, and that includes a complication. So, Woe, I have to ask: narrative or threat?
Oh, you know it. You know I'm never going to give you a threat. It's always going to be narrative.
Give him the threat. Give him the threat. Give him the threat. Please.
No. I'm sorry.
I don't want the ship.
I'm
to
sorry,
break.
but
God damn it.
I want to hear if the ship breaks. I love narrative complications.
Well,
Tabot begging at Woe's feet. No, take the threat.
I'm crying here. Sean is crying. Tabok is gritting his teeth so hard you can hear it crunch in the galley.
This is
Baby girl, this isn't your role. This isn't about you.
It's my ship.
For now.
You're breaking. Yeah, for now. You're breaking my ship.
so
I'll break it some more if you want.
You already did.
I can go further. Don't test me. Let me hear my narrative complication, please.
Damn it.
Okay, so Woe, there is, for the ship's part and for the mechanical element, there is absolutely no problems with the ship as it opens fire with the disruptor cannons, and I will indeed rule that you can go ahead and fire the. You can indeed fire the. You can go ahead and roll damage for the disruptors with no cost or issue. I will, of course, since you are firing the disruptors, ask for 1 point of power.
Okay. How do I give that to you?
No, you don't.
Yeah, I believe.
One of us has been keeping an eye on that, so we should be down to what, 4? Yeah, we should be down to.
Well,
right?
while
Put down the 4.
Yeah.
Up. Okay.
While the ship fires the disruptors off effortlessly, and while they streak out into the silence of space, the noise, the pounding in your head begins to grow. The sensation washes over and around you.
She staggers a little bit and puts both hands on her console to try and steady herself. You know, you see her like trying really hard not to vomit, so she's just swallowing over and over again. Kim, something's wrong. And she starts to sway. I don't want to go out like this, Captain. Something's wrong. I will not go out like this. And she starts swinging.
Press it to the bridge immediately.
I will ask, since as I said, the roll went successfully as far as the attack goes, so somebody can roll if somebody who has the ship's sheet open, could you please roll damage for those disruptor cannons, please?
Yeah, is it only 2? Are we only doing 2 dice?
Well, the cannons have a default of 2 damage, but the sheet adds in like the scale and security rating of the ship. So
Okay.
Okay.
all right.
Why did it roll twice?
I don't know. They're identical rolls, so I'll give you the same thing. That is 8 damage in total after the vicious one. I will say scan for weakness, since the effects of that have already passed. You do not get the piercing effect as well.
But they have no shields.
Yeah, which is enough, I think, to. I think technically that still counts as 2 breaches on the ships, or on the ships basically. So.
Yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, the next wave of cannon fire just begins riddling the superstructure with holes as bits of atmosphere begin to vent out. Plasma streams from certain segments of the ship. Some of the area along some of the nacelles also get chewed up, but not quite to a point of damage. As the yawn sort of passes around the vessel, uh, some of the disruptor blasts actually catch the mounting of the emitter for the disruptor pulses. They're a sort of long-range weapon. So you have done 1 additional breach to the ship's structure and to the weapons. And the structure, that does not do anything to this. So with that, the Kreel, they are. Well, let's see. Yeah, they are left with nothing but your static and still taking considerable damage. They are going to. Let's see. They have the opportunity to restore engines with the minor action on this turn, and they are going to just engage impulse and back up 2 zones, essentially. Reversing away from you as fast, like relatively fast. So, I should roll for that here. Sorry, let's fix that. Control plus security. So, oh, but they
We
fail.
won't get a tally mark if it isn't blown up. Come on.
Well, so yeah, while they fail to conduct their role there, the freighter is just kind of, as they try to back up, the power systems are just clearly fluctuating too much for them.
Did we get a momentum back when we shot at them?
Oh,
You got 3 successes.
Yes, you do get 1 momentum back, so I'll deal that back out. So the turn is going back to you, and just for this moment here, since Kresik has been called up, I think we can take a momentary scene back on the bridge. So,
and I'll get up out of my chair and check Woe. I mean, I'm not going to do anything, but if she's,
yeah, Woe is still. I think we established she is still just keeping her footing.
Sorry, go ahead.
The sensations have not abated.
Who we talk to him? Who's starting to just throw up? Hail him. He looks to Vopri. Hail him now.
Right. Whoa. I'm going to try to guide her to. There's a couple of stations behind her with chairs. I'm going to try to guide her to sit down in a chair.
Yep.
I want to roll to pick the captain up by his scruff and say, "Hands off me, little man."
Daring and security. We're going to treat this as a grapple, basically. Captain, you may contest.
I may? Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And if you, for funsies here, well, if you want to use that point of threat that you have, then you can definitely use it to buy an extra die here.
What am I potentially?
It would be
You know what?
technically it would
I'm
be
not going to use that threat.
fair enough. So Tabak, daring and security, or like since she's basically rolling effectively a grapple to pick you up by your scruff, you can contest it with daring and security. You know, your favorite roll.
But it counts as melee, so my focus applies.
Does it
Yes,
count as melee, though? I'm not using a weapon.
It's hand-to-hand combat.
yes.
Hand to hand.
Expand your critical success range by none. You pick up
Oh,
you pick up Tabak by his by the scruff of his
By the back of my skull.
I put her claw, like her thumb. I want to call it a dew claw. Anyways, we'll say her dew claw is dangerously close to your eye. Don't touch me. And she holds that. She looks at Vopi. Hail them.
Okay.
Belay that.
Her finger presses in.
Whoa. Whoa. Stop.
As you attempt to make your case to her, Tabak, the door opens and Kresik comes in. We haven't sent the clone somewhere, have we, Captain?
No, woe is not well. Actually, it'd be more like, woe is not well.
You know, I respect the balls on the captain, honestly. It's not the quad.
Kresik cranes his neck in your direction, Woe. Whoa. What are you doing?
I can feel them, Kressik. I can feel them. And she points in the general direction of where they are. I want to hear why we're killing them. Why did we have to attack the base? Why the other Klingons won't help us? I want some clarification. And then I want you to put something in my head so I never have to experience this again.
Kressik's face, implacable as ever. It like you can just tell that he is firmly looking in your direction here, and he will raise his scanner, first gesturing the display screen out towards you. Whoa. May I have your permission?
Granted.
Can we do this not on the verge right now?
Shut up! She sticks her thumb in your mouth and pins your tongue down.
Ew. Would anyone care if he takes a point of momentum here? That will allow him to. That will allow Kresik to use cautious medicine.
Go for it.
Please.
All right. You'd care to drop that for me, Tabak?
Yeah, give me a second. I'm getting there. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So with that, I think a focus could apply here. Yes, and that will give you back that point of momentum. Very odd. Captain. Well,
Huh?
actually, first. Well, the most productive way we go forward is with all of us having our wits about us and asking the right questions. Don't you agree?
She slowly lowers the captain, but does not remove her hand from his head.
Now, the captain needs not just control of his faculties, but the ability to express his sentiment. We can all have a reasonable conversation.
You feel
Captain,
her fingers readjust on his head, like the one over the top. They just kind of, whenever you do like the 4 notes on a piano, they just kind of realign, and then the thumb pops out of his mouth. But her hand is still holding his head.
Yep. The furry thumb is removed from your mouth, claw away from any risk of affecting a gag reflex or otherwise doing more serious damage.
Like piercing my cheek.
Yep. I could just imagine the old time day where Cheshire may have bounded across and you were snoring, your mouth wide open, and just her foot got caught in your mouth for a moment, and the unpleasant sensation of feline hair present. I imagine it's a moment like that, but only with something more deadly serious.
And less sand from the litter box.
Well, at least there's that. Also, hey there, LED. Nice to see you. A friend of the chat light emitting doe, who I might be able to shout out here. Let's see. Light emitting doe. Yep, that works. For anyone in the chat, be sure to check them out. They do some pretty fun, variety gaming. Recently, they've been
Nice.
playing Tunic, it looks like. But yes, all of that set aside, with Woe removing her thumb, Kresic looks to you. Captain, I will admit I am not fully prepared to explain the situation here. But what I can say is that Woe's intuition on this may be of some value. At any rate, he says, glancing over to a very clearly battered ship, given my lack of patience that need attention and their apparent state, would it be safe to presume that we have the upper hand in this situation?
Yes.
Then
We were going to issue the killing blow when Woe became this.
might
She looks down. She squats for a moment. She squats down to the captain's level, still not removing her hand. She says, "How would you want to see a whole ship full of people die?"
Captain, might I suggest that you may still find honor in victory, and that you may even still be able to find the glory of slaughtering your enemies if you so wish, but that as powerful as you are in this moment, you have won the ability to ask questions.
You appeal to my ego. Unnecessary. I'm simply here to do a job. The most efficient way to do that job is simply to destroy them.
I do not disagree with you, Captain. I am simply posing more a question to your sense of reason. You can still destroy them. You have the weapons at your disposal, and if it came to it, you have others that could carry out that order besides having Woe perform it. But does this not possibly pose an opportunity?
Get your hand off my head. Vopri, hail them.
She brings her hand, kind of very similar to a stroke, down the side of his head, cups his chin, and tilts his head upward to look at her. Permit me this, and I will bless them myself.
I'm sorry, I couldn't make that out. Your mic is a little distorted.
My mic is a pair of elf ears, so of course it is. I said, permit me this, and I will kill them myself.
Vopri?
Okay, I am opening hailing frequencies.
She lets go of his head and steps behind her console.
I step around back to my chair.
Yep.
Unhurriedly.
Yep.
Slowly and calmly.
Woe, as you glance in Vopri's direction, you also notice Dakoth has. You realize this whole time Dakoth has been shooting you a death glare, hand at his disruptor.
She raises her hand and flexes her claws and raises her eyebrows back up. So I'm going to feel a whole ship full of death. What's one more? She snarls at him.
He'll just bare his teeth and grit them at you.
Like a good Klingon warrior.
Anyway, few moments pass here. I have a channel.
On screen.
And before you appears the face of an older, like slightly wizened looking Kreel gentleman. As with most Kreel, the general look is one of a deeply sort of burnt orange flesh as a general principle, and a very broad lantern-like jaw. Their upper body, which he keeps very visible on the screen as he poses before you, is practically like triangular. Like the shoulders are broad, they taper slightly towards the midsection, but this is a very sort of beefy gentleman, like arms, chest, and like on down. They don't pretend the spindly legs that just barely keep Kreel seemingly settled upon the ground. It's a very unusual sort of look. But this particular Kreel before you, he looks at you with a just dogged but deeply concerned look. You Klingon scum! If I had even half the armament that you did, we would not be in this situation. You would be dead, and I would be
fairly
laughing.
evident. That is fairly evident. And
it is not enough, apparently, that you you unleash abominations upon us. That you, rather, it is not enough that you simply come to steal the dilithium that we have worked so hard to lawfully mine. But you come here unleashing abominations upon us and uh, uh, attacking us at I, uh, he just kind of shrugs down the seemingly dominant pose that Kreel are used to exhibiting. The shrug is an utter sign of defeat on his part. Well, Klingon Commander, I know not who you are and what brought you to this point of actually listening, but I am prepared to discuss terms if it is possible. My name is Nogri, and I am prepared to negotiate the abandonment of our lawful claim.
Lawful claim.
Yes, lawful claim. The claim that we had worked out with House Clothos so long ago when we had initially prospected this asteroid. The claim that we have been building up and that we have been mining peacefully and orderly. We have waited that we were preparing to collect shipment on. But that's apparently we were not sufficiently well armed for. Some rapscallions like yourselves can just come in and take it on a whim.
Mind your words, Captain. Mind your words. Real quick.
Of character.
DM,
No.
House of Clothos. That's the guys who hired us, wasn't it?
They were. They apparently reached out to the mining guild, and they were saying that some Kreel had set up a mine without on one of their mining claims.
Mind your words, Captain, especially when lies come out of your mouth.
I make no such lies.
House Clothos sent us here to get rid of your illegal mine.
Legal mine. They sponsored us. They were the ones who I've personally spoken with representatives of their house. They agreed.
As have I.
Oh.
As have I.
Do you have proof of this contract?
Unfortunately, due to the damage sustained to our computer systems, any record of that we are incapable of calling up. As I gather, your handiwork on the station has left their computer systems equally smashed, so I can pull nothing up beyond my own word, which I would readily stake this on.
Out of character, can I roll a insight on this dude specifically?
You may definitely roll an insight roll on this person.
Am I still locked in the dark room in the basement?
If you would like to either have audio going, or if you'd like, I mean, from where you are in engineering, you could very easily pull up a feed of this if you so wanted to.
Yeah, the engineers always know what's going on because they can tap into anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it would seem a bit weird that they want to use the communication system when you're about to win a glorious victory.
Is this insight and security, or what is this?
I think that generally speaking, command applies a little bit more, but I could be permissive on security here.
Okay. I have no reason to give security here, but except it's got one more point, so I'm taking that. As long as I don't have to justify it. Yes.
I'll let it slip. Okay. Yeah, he seems like you feel like you can read this man pretty much like an open book. As he, like the The indignation is very transparent upon his face as Tabak claims that he is lying about the situation. There's definitely a degree too of like further resignation and like just an absolute crestfallen demeanor as he starts as things start going about his brain. He just very much seems like a desperate man who is confused about his circumstances and is increasingly feels like he's starting to put the pieces together. Those Batak. Tell me, Captain, are you getting any dilithium out of your deal?
It's none of your concern.
Let me tell you about a deal that I struck with House Klothos. Their representatives, they had agreed to allow us to take 30% of what we mined here. Now, this might be a small operation, but that level of profit would have first gone a long ways towards allowing me to and my people to build up on our ilk. It would also be an excellent supply of first-rate material. We obviously
And this
don't,
matters to me. Why?
because we don't get any dilithium if we are dead. And the only liars I suspect in this case are that of House Klothos themselves, if they have hired you to take us out.
How much dilithium have you mined?
We have sufficient levels to fill our cargo holds. Which I'm going to say I don't have a good reference point for the exact level of cargo, but
Well, they can hold a whole lot more cargo than we can.
yes.
Fill my cargo holds with dilithium and leave. I will tell Klothos that you are no longer here.
It will allow us to bring the remains of the people on the base off as well.
Yes. Remove all evidence of you being here.
Very well.
You can take as much dilithium as you can
And
carry.
fill my hold with dilithium. Keep whatever else you have. I care not. My task is simply to get you off of this rock.
He'll draw up, stretching his height a little bit. We are agreed, Klingon Commander.
Give me coordinates, and I can beam the dilithium to my cargo holds with my cargo transporters.
I will make the arrangements. May I have the name of the commander whom I am entering this agreement with?
I am Tabak of the House of Cord.
I shall remember that. We will send coordinates shortly. And with that, he will tap the line and or he'll tap a button on a nearby console, and his visual will go off. You are left instead to look back out upon the damaged freighter.
Well, Bri, cut the feed from our end, just in case he's still listening.
Communications are terminated, Captain.
Engineering, I need you to make sure that the cargo transporters are fully functional for cargo. On it now.
All right, leading to cargo transporting.
So, some time elapses as
and
both
Croker, we should get Croker out of sickbay.
Yes!
And back onto the transporters, because that's what he does really well.
Yes.
So, cutting ahead a little ways because some time will elapse here. Uh, the freighter will join you in closing range back on the asteroid base where you had initially arrived. And let's
Real quick.
yeah.
Whoa. Maintain an active target lock on that ship.
That I can do, Captain.
Don't even try to hide it. I want them to feel that little red dot on the bridge.
I assure you, they can feel it.
But suffice to say that or like in the time that elapses, there are messages between them and the base, and they do eventually start beaming up their personnel. They also likewise supply you with coordinates, which, with their transporter system active, this can be. If you would like to make a roll, Raldar, then I will give you a difficulty 2 control and engineering roll assisted by the ship's structure and engineering.
All right. Structure engineering. You want to spend that one momentum to make sure we get our
Yes,
loot
please.
goods.
Yes, please.
And more
Okay.
momentum than the looks.
Yep. That will be that is 4 successes right there, so that will automatically get you 2 points. I am also going to allow you to bypass the power requirement in this case, since you are not in an active combat situation, or like you're standing by but aren't there necessarily. But yeah, Kresic, or no, Rev rather. Nope, still wrong. God damn it. Oh,
Waldar.
editing that out. Yes, Raldar. I might have to keep that in now just because it's too funny.
Oh,
Which
leave it. That's funny. It's funny. You're just like my mom when she talks to me and she says my brother's name.
Parents of multiple children, I say this being one, will often get confused when the children fluster them.
yes. And
It's always funny when the showrunner has to ask for lines instead of the actors.
Yep. Oh, that's your GM. Anyway, Raldar, you engage the transporters with coordinates that have been supplied from the Kreel, perhaps initially with some wariness, but that wariness starts melting away as containers are beamed on board, and a thorough visual inspection will show you decent sized crates of that vital purple gold, that indispensable item for warp travel. Loads of fairly good quality unrefined dilithium.
Oh boy.
Which is quite a savings for the future if you ever come into more major damage with the engines, and will certainly keep the ship help it stay fueled for a long time.
It'll keep it fueled and will also fund getting it refurbished.
Yep. But yeah, over the course of the next hour or so, they will continue to conduct their transporters, beaming up as much dilithium as they can. Your hold will be very nearly filled with what they could send along.
Yeah, we have like 4 cargo holds.
Yep.
Well, technically 3, because one of them is full of Junior.
Yep. So
and I don't want a Junior in a room full of dilithium.
Yeah.
That just sounds
We'll
that sounds like a bad idea.
Look, when we refurbish, we'll give him a proper room because I don't think he can share.
No.
Yeah. But yes, the Kreel readily evacuate what is left of their people. They pull off some supplies with an efficiency natural to these scavengers. They pull away like various bits of detritus and
Well,
the
also with our disruptors pointed at them, they're going to be quick about it.
Yep. But yes, they still somewhat damaged, but under their own power, they are eventually able to start moving. And the Kreel ship sends you an audio message with Nogri's voice carrying over once again. Uh, we have completed our process, and we hope that your dilithium stores are adequate at this point.
Sufficient.
We have pulled away remaining equipment and personnel, and will proceed out of system.
Leave now.
Nogri just closes the channel and gives you no further mind to that as the ship begins to kick up its impulse engines. So, very
Are you
quick.
going to make? Can we just shoot whatever is left of the base out of oblivion without having to roll dice?
I mean, you
I was just going to say, can we blow up the base?
you could, with a properly aimed torpedo, you could probably do that. There is a risk if you do that it collapses the very nicely excavated caves that the Kreel seem to have left behind. And given that they, had some access to the mines, that would mean possibly setting off some dilithium. And, well, technically,
Okay,
House
no,
Cloth.
okay, skip that.
Yeah.
We did it. We did a lot of damage. There's a lot of blood and body parts. Assuming they left any of the body parts behind. There's plenty of evidence that we blew crap up.
Yep.
That's fine.
Nothing to waste.
There we go. When House Clothos comes in to take their claim back that they did not pay somebody else to set up for them. They have a mine already started. So there we go.
Yep. So with the Theon presently in orbit as or like in close proximity to the asteroid where the Kreel had been occupying, and their ship starting to move off. Let's go around real quick. I guess first, would anybody really urgently like a scene with anybody? Or
I would like one with Kresic, but he's not here, so that's difficult.
I would, yeah, same.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something to be worked out between.
Because I have questions for Kresic that he might have answers to, because Tabak is not an idiot and is making assumptions and wants to verify assumptions.
Well, do these assumptions, say, pertain directly to the crew, or is it anything relating more to the Kreel specifically?
Whoa.
Okay, that's better to. I mean, we can do another scene after this, and I can run a.
I can wait for this scene until we have him here.
Yeah.
That's fine, because it's not a time important issue.
Okay. Well, other than that, does anybody have anybody perhaps have something a little more directly related to recent events, or say would anyone want to would people just prefer to have a general like gathering on the scene post dilithium beam out and like talking about your hull or anything like that?
Okay, if I can't have one with Kresic, I will have a quick one, please, with Woe.
Okay.
Okay, and also I am volunteering. I'm volunteering Callie and Joe to have a scene because y'all did not have enough airtime.
You have a good point there, and I will wait for my conversation with Woe.
Okay.
There you go.
Real quick. let's see. I guess first, uh, Azik, anything that you would want to, or Joe, anything you'd want for either Azik or Dekoth, or anything to do?
Uh,
Same question also goes to you, Callie. Caligo, Ralder. What?
I have an idea, but I
Oh.
don't know if it would work. There's a part of me that wants to get almost like study the ship that we just fought for tactical information, or at least get some of their maybe get with Vopri to download some of their tactic, um, their combat tactics to try to learn to fight them better.
You could definitely speak with Vopri about that. We can definitely run a scene with that here in a moment.
want to do a rewarding juniors bit.
I gotcha.
He
So,
did a good job, and he didn't kill Tressic, so I think he deserves a reward.
yeah, I'll, for your purposes, this may be less a scene here, and so much as just saying that what you've got going. Junior by this point will be maybe slowly waking up, or kind of just a little out of it, more or less like face down on the ground. Um, let's actually make that the closing scene. Actually, we'll kick this up until later because I think that's as good a moment to bookend this with. Um, so I think question for Woe and the captain here first. Did the two of you take your scene on the bridge with everyone else, or do you just want to move out into the hall?
This can happen after we've already loaded up
Okay.
and are headed on to wherever we're headed up to next.
Okay. Well, let's do a quick scene with Azik and Vopri as that sequence is playing out. So the Vopri, it looks over from his console. Uh, it is a most unusual configuration of craft.
That was kind of my thought. We need to get some more information on that ship. I'd love to study its capabilities and maneuverability, so if we ever run into them again, we know how to best utilize our ship versus theirs. Can you do some sciencey stuff to download their some of their tactical information, their tactical data stores?
I do not think they would be terribly permissive if I tried to access their computer mainframe. That being said, I can send you over tactical analysis from the ship sensors, and if you want to review it.
That would be perfect. I'll start studying those as soon as he sends them over.
Okay. If you would like to make a roll for this, then I will allow you control, rather a reason and security. I think would be. Actually, I would allow for reason and con, since you are more concerned about issues of maneuverability and how to gain the most advantage against them.
Would shipboard tactical systems count for this too?
I think that's a little looser application
Okay.
of the focus, so
Sure.
not quite this time around. It's more of a strategy question.
Yeah, one success. That's not bad.
Yep, and Vopri will assist you, relaying some of the data. So, of the different Kreel configurations you fought this time, there's basically two things you've noticed. So this freighter, which is definitely an anomaly, you could discern pretty easily that it is not terribly well armed. Like as beefy as it is, the fact that they were still using older style lasers, which is common enough to most Kreel, actually made their close range quite vulnerable, and their size just didn't quite make up for it. So in the future, close range engagements like what you had, you know, if the rolls break exactly how you need them to, then it could be pretty much a slaughter against them pretty expeditiously. Um, in particular, if you were to ever try to declare specific systems, you think that their engines might actually be, the jury rigging they've done there could prove an exceptional weakness against these vessels. So they could go down quite fast. The disruptor emitter the disruptor pulse emitter is definitely non-standard, so it's you don't know whether to expect more of that, or whether they might have some other torpedo system, or even bother with that. The only disadvantage you might have getting up at that kind of knife fighting distance is if they try to tractor beam you and redirect you in some manner, which I'm sure is a tactic some wily Klingon operators have figured out from time to time. But uh, yeah, as that's going at this point, actually, Vopride sends you some real-time data, because you see the Kreel starting to make their way out of the system, but you also see another ship is rapidly closing. Captain, the escort, rather the patrol craft, the other ship, the Teplola, it is closing on the Kreel as we speak.
And
They they are, I believe they are charging weapons. They may be moving to engage.
blowing up a ship full of dilithium might prove foolish.
Well, let's see how foolish, but they're engaging from long range. I'll expend a point of threat here just to increase the complication range. So, one for the task. Oh dear. Oh, well, that rolled twice, and oh man, that's bad. Uh,
Oh,
I was going to roll
oh my god!
I was going to roll to have them try to make that attack from uh, proper range. Now a part of me is thinking that they get up too close. What do you guys think?
Yes, too close.
Too close.
Okay. Yep,
Somebody done screwed up.
they run at impulse, put themselves directly on top of them. Captain, they are firing photon torpedoes, and the burst of antimatter that consumes them and the Kreel freighter is, or rather, the scale of that reaction is quite considerable, as the antimatter torpedoes take the unshielded vessel and score some direct hits at the dilithium, which, mediating the energy reaction as it does, boosts it for a moment to quite a scale.
Incandescent scale.
Yep. Both ships are gone.
Oof. Oh well.
That was a bad move, guys.
Oh, both vessels destroyed.
As
Hey,
I
the Klingons in this other claim are gone.
said. Yeah, they are, aren't they? Yeah.
Anyway, um,
That was foolish.
scarcely honor in engaging in battle when they did not deign to join us earlier, Dekoth will comment.
They are not necessarily the most honorable of Klingons. That much is plainly obvious.
They were never warriors to begin with, so.
Well,
not
they're certainly
surprising.
they will certainly enjoy their time, I'm sure, in Grethor.
Yes. With all of that said, and with Raldar in the scene as well, just mentioning that. I guess, is there anything else you want to try and do while in this system here?
I think we have done as much damage as we can do here. Um, we let them go. Just the other guys attacked. It's not our fault.
Yep.
We didn't promise them safe passage. We just said we won't shoot you.
Yep.
Real
So,
sad.
as a Klingon, I don't feel bad about this one whit.
Alright.
So yeah, Azek set course. Where are we going next? Well, we have a hold full of
To the
dilithium.
to the next adventure or any stopovers you decide to make.
Correct, because we're going to need to do something with this dilithium, like cash it in
Yeah.
and then bank that money.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the crew would like to get paid.
Ryza?
No, we are not welcome at Ryza. You're gonna have to
yet.
wait. You're gonna have to wait like a century or more for us to be welcome at Ryza.
Well, anyway, yeah, I guess the best general order would just be to get yourselves out of there or get us out of here.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
All right, I'll set course.
Yep. And yeah, so the On will leave the system with ample bloodshed behind it on a base they have left over and in space. And sometime going through that, I think that we could take the time for that one scene with Tabak and Woe.
No, we can't because Woe is not able to communicate. Mike is not functional.
Oh,
it broke again.
Yep.
I had missed that. That is most unfortunate.
It's all right. We can wait for it later.
They're saying
yeah, whoa,
they're
it's all right.
checking.
We can wait till later. It's not a big deal.
Okay,
It's
well,
not a bad stopping point though. For
yeah, this is the perfect stopping point.
yeah, I think then that very last point. Let's go more descriptive with what we were planning here. So,
We're just gonna warp out and roll credits. Okay.
well, there's one more thing that something I think earned with this episode, and it involves following back the ship's engineer, Raldar, to the one cargo hold deck that is not presently in use. Or at least not for the bounty of dilithium that you have taken. So let's go to the theater of the mind for this.
Brain activate.
That means I have to turn on my mind.
Roldar, as you stand outside the door of the hold with a very different use at present, tell me, what equipment are you going in with?
In his left hand is the usual feeding bucket.
The chum bucket.
The chum bucket. But however, this time there is a nice leg of targ in there.
And then still the stun baton in the other.
Oh, the other hand has more of a bundle of, assorted pipes and fabric.
Well, you enter the sequence necessary to enter and step through. I'll say that by the time you've come in, sufficient hours have elapsed to where the tranquilizer is starting to wear off. I don't recall if Dar had been trained back up, or what we'd done with the clone beyond tranquilizing him.
He got a relationship point with Krezik.
That is correct. So the clone will look to you.
Oh, calm down. You did good today. So you're getting a little treat and a reward. So, first I will bring him the chum bucket.
He'll rush towards the bucket and pick it up, and he's used to dumping out the gach basically over his face, but in this case, since the leg of Targ comes out, it kind of I'm gonna roll for this just for the flavor of it. So let's see. Let's call this control and engineering. Those are some funny numbers there, but he doesn't actually have a focus on that. It doesn't matter. So yeah, with that, he's actually going to manage to catch the leg of Targ in his mouth and starts just chewing away at it before tossing the bucket away and then ripping it out with his claws, or like ripping the leg away with his claws, large hunks of meat in his teeth as he just chews. A bunch of it just dribbles down from his jaws and starts swallowing it messily.
And while he's eating, Raldar will go over by the wall. And the bundle of fabric and whatnot is a cot. A reinforced cot, but a cot.
He'll pause for just the moment to pay mind to you as you start setting up this makeshift bed.
And I'm getting rid of the chains.
He'll eye you for a moment before lapping again at the meat, and you're able to leave him behind, removing the bucket and taking the chains away as well. He remains with a satisfying meal and perhaps the beginnings of a few more creature comforts.
Emphasis on the creature.
Yeah, and then Raldar will come back again with a chair and a data pad. Take a seat. And start reading him Klingon literature. Like
Right?
before.
Yes.
It's a false attempt to teach him and educate him.
Yeah. Well, with those words of classical guttural Klingon from whatever tales you decide to start telling this clone of yours, I think we will leave off there. The beginnings of perhaps something new here. But yeah, for the archive, this is where we are going to cut out for today. So I hope that you enjoyed today's session. I think that will be it for the prospect of violence, and we will be starting next week with a new adventure. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. For those that are for those that are watching live, this will obviously be up in its complete video form in the archives later. Probably about 2 days, but yeah, for those catching it here, hope you enjoyed. If you ever want to check us out live, we stream this show on Twitch Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Be sure to check out the link in the description. But anyway, I think this is where we'll cut out. So have a good day and good evening. So long.